Your manifestation is going so much better than you could ever imagine. And your specific person wants to show up right now, tell you how you two are meant to be together, and write you a love song. But it's just this illusion that we are perceiving in our reality as to why we can't see it right here and right now. And I'm going to talk about this, actually talk about a success story as well. And I also actually made a workbook on this. It's just a 2-page workbook on this idea to pull yourself out of any negative thoughts or negative worries and see this reality of your specific person telling you that you're meant to be together. Now, don't download it yet because I need to explain it first, but it's going to make a whole lot of sense. So the first thing I want to touch on, and it's a good starting point for all this, and that is negative thoughts do not manifest. Okay? They just don't manifest. You don't have to worry about what you're thinking constantly. Your negative thoughts do not manifest because really everything is based on our assumptions. And I can kind of get rid of this idea right here and right now by asking, when's the last time you've been severely or extremely emotional? Okay, think of that time. Maybe a time, and I know we don't like to think or talk about it, but a time that we cried ourselves to sleep. Okay, so let's say thoughts and emotions manifest, okay? So when you woke up, did you have a different name, a different address, a different hair color, woke up in a different country? You'd be like, well, no, everything was all the same. And yes, because thoughts and emotions do not manifest. All they do is change our perception. In the same way that right now, your specific person wants to come into your reality and tell you how you two are meant to be together. But it's this perception based on our current feelings and thoughts that are not allowing us to see it. And I'll give you a way. That's the whole point of this workbook in this video that's going to cause us to see it and then manifest it in our reality. And I'll actually give you some examples. So here's something that we usually do that causes us to not see this positive outcome. And it's basically a fill in the blank idea. So if you were to fill in this blank, I'll give you a sentence and I want you to fill it in. Someone who was interested in me would do blank. Okay? Someone who was interested in me would do blank. What answers do you have? Would text me all the time, things like this. We'll get into that. Would choose only me, would not ignore me, would seek me out, pursue me, right? We have all these things. Or would like my Instagram posts, snap me, right? We have all these ideas of someone who is interested in me would do that. And I want you to comment down any thoughts or ideas that you have on this. And I'll have you guys comment to reframe something. But we're all going to have a mindset on this. And it's not the same for everyone because think about it this way, and this will give a little preemptive idea where we're going with this. Someone could say, someone who is interested in me would text me all the time. And someone could also say, someone who's interested in me would give me my space and respect me, right? Both the same concept that lead into the same emotion of someone being interested. But just remember, we are setting that idea in motion. So fill in the blank right now, take out a piece of paper or in the workbook, it'll have you do this, but write down whatever it is you are perceiving. And you can actually, again, take out a piece of paper and write down, fill in that blank. Someone who was interested in me would do blank. And you're going to realize by doing that, by setting that emotion, we have actually created a list of things that'll make us feel good and a list of things that will make us feel bad. But really, we don't have to feel bad at all. It's this list and this perception that they have to text me all the time or they have to give me space that actually leads to our assumptions, which then end up creating. So think about it this way. Because you always match. I'll give you a couple Neville Goddard quotes that talk about this. But how do we feel when someone does not fit this idea? So let's say someone who is interested would text me all the time, okay? And they don't. We're going to say he's not interested, he's not invested, he doesn't like me, she's not interested, she's not invested, she doesn't like me, right? We're going to immediately go to that. But who set up this list? Who is telling you that that's the reality? You made the list, so you can switch it however you want. That's how we know this illusion that you thinking that your specific person doesn't want to show up in your reality right now is entirely an illusion because we made the list. And it actually causes us to get into a thinking of if he wanted to, he would, right? That aspect, which we know is kind of detrimental to our feelings and assumptions. So don't allow yourself to fall into that trap. Saying if he wanted to, he would is totally not looking at your future reality and your future assumptions, okay? That's not the case. This is just a stemmed belief off of the list that we had. And to give you guys a couple Neville Goddard quotes that are going to help with that are, quote, "The measurements of right and wrong belong to man alone. To life, there is nothing right or wrong." Go back to that idea that someone who is interested in me would text me all the time, and someone who is interested in me would give me my space. Totally different things leading to the same outcome, that they're interested in me, but it's all based on our assumption. And the second quote, "Life does not care whether you call yourself rich or poor, strong or weak. It will eternally reward you with that which you claim is true of yourself." Okay, so this worry and fear of them not liking us, this list that we're having, is actually stemming from not feeling completely worthy, but that's a whole nother video that we can dive into. But just remember, this assumption and illusion that your specific person doesn't want to hop into your reality right now is just that. It is just an illusion, okay? And I want to put on the success story yesterday because I want to really include that. It's such a cool success story, and we're going to break it down into this concept of the list that they were creating and how they switched the list and then got the success they wanted. Okay, so here is the success story. I'll read it again. You guys will remember it from yesterday's video. "Hello, I don't know where to start. I got my ex back. He left the third party and now we're together. He came to my house with roses and told me how much he loves me. He told me that she was not me or just not me and that he knows now I'm the woman he's meant to be with. He even wrote me a song. He plays guitar. This is magical. It was just like a scene from a movie. Thank you so much for everything you taught me. Thank you." So again, I want to break this down. Again, hopefully you guys, this was in my yesterday's video, but if you were like, I don't want to watch a 50-minute workshop, that's a success story. And I just want to go into those limiting beliefs again. So they had broke up in May and had no contact since June, okay? So 5 months since breakup before we started in contact and they messaged me, and 4 months of no contact. And they mentioned things like, it's really hard for me when he's choosing someone else because there was a third party. Also said, now I'm also worried about time because I want to be with him for my birthday, which was in November, and this was October when we started talking, and Christmas and New Year's Eve. Third party, like we mentioned, he said that one side of him wants them to wait for him, the SP, but the other side wants to be with her, the third party. So imagine how that feels. So she said words like, his words really hurt me. I'm triggered by what he said. But remember, so think of the outcomes or how we would finish that sentence and how we're feeling at that time, right? We're really hurt. So we may finish that sentence. Someone who is interested in me would text me, would choose only me, not ignore me, want to spend their birthday with me, not go 4 months without messaging me, right? And how does all of that make you feel? Probably not good. And we're doing the same thing when it comes to our specific person manifestation, okay? That's what we're doing. We all have this list of things that if someone would do this, if they were interested in me, and then we place our specific person on that list. But we've already found that the list is totally made up. It doesn't make any sense, right? It has nothing to do with anything, okay? The list does not create your reality. You create the list. And again, to quote Neville Goddard, The measurements of right and wrong belong to man alone. To life, there is nothing right or wrong. And so with this in mind, we kind of broke down to get this success. All you have to do is break down those same exact thoughts and feelings, right? And then switch them to something that's more empowering. And I will give you some examples of this. And I'm going live at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So by the time this video goes up, it'll be like 10 to 20 minutes from now. But I'm going to go live and go over further details, but I just wanted to start with a couple of them because they're going to be really, really powerful. So let's say our specific person isn't texting us. Here are a couple ways in which we can actually reframe it and change our outcome and see a totally different side of our reality. And you're going to see that your specific person is literally begging to be with you. So let's say the first one. Let's say our specific person isn't texting us back. Normally we think, they're ignoring me, they hate me. What about if they have a fear of vulnerability? Okay. They might be afraid of opening up or showing their true feelings. This fear can stem from past experiences or rejection or hurt. Okay. Like that's not the best assumption, but that could be happening. And then how do we feel then? Instead of being angry or mad that they're not messaging us, we be more empathetic and patient. And that would actually result in more success. Or maybe they have avoidance of overwhelm. If they have intense feelings for you, they might be overwhelmed and unsure how to express themselves, leading to avoidance of communication. Have you ever thought about that? And again, these are the goals or the same reframing that leads to this type of results. What about maybe they have a preservation of mystery or intrigue? So some individuals believe that being less available or communicative makes them more desirable or intriguing in the eyes of their love interest. Why can't that be what they're thinking and feeling? So hopefully I'm already kind of changing your mind. But lastly, what about if they have concerns of clinginess? So they might worry that texting too often could come off as clingy or needy, so they hold back to maintain a sense of independence. All of this is just a choice that you can have in your reality to create the outcome that you want. Because really, how do we know that that's not our reality? And when we begin to align more with these ideas rather than the ones that are disempowering, that they don't like me, that they hate me, right? Again, the choice is up to you. Someone who was interested in me would text me all the time, and someone who was interested in me would give me my space, right? We are always choosing and picking to create the feeling. And when you understand that your specific person is just overwhelmed or has intense feelings for you, and that's why their communication is odd or weird, when we make that assumption, that then becomes and creates our reality, okay? So that's something to think about. And I actually want you guys now, you can take a look at, well, I mean, not right now, because I think you have to end the video. But in the description is a download link to this following worksheet. And I'll put a screenshot of it up. But you can get the full download PDF below, called Reframing When Manifesting Love. And so whenever we see something that is disempowering or we don't like, here's what we're going to do with it. We're going to describe the situation, okay? Exactly how you're feeling. And then go into the initial reaction. And then I want you guys to give 3 different perspectives on it. So you're going to write out what it feels in the other person's perspective to kind of change it, a third person perspective, and then from the eyes of your future self who's married, okay? And this is going to be really quick at changing it. And I know you guys can only see the one, but on the second page then, we're going to describe any assumptions or misunderstandings we might have to then understand and detach from this idea that we are connected to it. And then we're going to reframe it in the positive, create an action or belief plan, and then reflect on everything. And when you do this, you're going to get into the mindset of changing your entire reality, and you're going to change the outcome you're seeing with your specific person. So then you get those results that literally feels like, quote, this is so magical. It was like a scene from a movie. That can be you, and that can be your reality, but it's always connected to our assumptions. So if you guys do end up actually, just download the workshop or the workbook right now, just a couple pages. Super simple, super easy. And anytime you get into a disempowering thought, go through that workbook. It's going to change everything. And as well, so there's a bunch of other ways that we can interpret or assume. Like I gave you guys 4 of those, of like fear of vulnerability, overwhelmed, preservation of mystery, and clinginess, those ideas of changing how we're assuming it. But there are more, and I'm actually going to go over it in my live today, again, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So it's literally coming up like right now by the time this video goes up. So make your way over there. If you do want to become a member, just click the link. And then I'm going to be going over people's individual understanding. So I'm going to have people answer that question of someone who is interested in me would do blank. And we're going to, on this live, actively reframe it. So if there's something you're worried about and you're like, I don't know how to reframe this idea, we're going to do it live for the members. So thank you guys so much for stopping by today. Let me know, leave a thumbs up if you like this idea and you like the inclusion of a workbook. Let me know what your current beliefs or ideas, and if they're empowering or disempowering with the way we view how our specific person loves us. But remember, if you set this in motion, you're going to have the same exact success that was found in my email coaching. Obviously, this wasn't the only idea we went into, but it can have a massive, massive effect. Let me know any questions, comments, ideas. Again, always you can head over to my live that's happening right now, Sunday, January 21st, 1 p.m. Eastern time, if you're like watching this at another time. But you can always actually get this live even after. The lives are always available for all my members. You can, if you did want to send me a personal question, head over to kyleaugustcoaching.com. I'd love to hear from you, love to hear your questions, but I would love it more if you were live with us and send it there, because then it's going to answer. Someone else probably has the same exact question that you're thinking of. So thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I'll see you in a moment on my live. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow.